Papua New Guinea is not classified as a democratic country anymore.
Serious?
It's a country that's moving towards authoritarianism.
Wow.
So we're no longer classified as a democratic country.
Welcome to our channel. Today we have Hon.Allan and Governor Bird on some of the issues affecting our nation. Let's watch.
It reminds me of is that, you know, in Nazi Germany, when that country was moving towards fascism under Hitler, they began to control the media and all of the people in government agencies, just like you're seeing in telecom and all of these guys.
Yep.
They started to collude to push Germany towards an authoritarian government and towards, I guess, fascism. And we all, you know, those who know history. And the funny thing is, you know, the international agencies that rate countries for their acceptance of democracy, they've already, Papua New Guinea is not classified as a democratic country anymore.
Serious?
It's a country that's moving towards authoritarianism.
Wow.
So we're no longer classified as a democratic country. So the international agencies, and I think, you know, Peter O'Neill wrote an article on that, and the former Prime Minister, and he's quite right. So what we're seeing with this particular government is that they're moving more and more towards countries like Nazi Germany used to operate in the past, more authoritarian governments like dictatorships like North Korea, like Russia. That's where we're moving. So it begins with the censorship of media, because as you know, in democratic countries, the media is supposed to be the fourth or the fifth? What
fourth state.
It's the fourth state.
Yeah.
The media is intended to keep governments honest in democratic countries. So the fact that this government, and you know, to some extent the previous government also was doing it, but this government is taking it to a new level. They're really trying to control and keep a lead on media. It demonstrates that we're not interested in this, the fourth state, the media, being part of our democratic process. So I think what's happened to you, I think in the past there was Scott Wyder and a few others who were terminated from MTV, I think I remember.
Yes, yes.
So, you know, that was the beginning. And you know, this is the scary thing. And this is why I think all Papua New Guineans should be afraid and they should be worried, because, you know, countries don't just suddenly become authoritarian. Yes, in some places you get military coups and that kind of thing that pushes it straight there. But in a lot of places it's more subtle. Also walking easy. You know the story of putting the frog in the cold water and putting the pot on the fire and then just bringing it to the boil. The water is getting hot, the frog is cooking, but the frog doesn't realize it's cooking. And pretty soon it's going to be a feast for somebody. Well, Papua New Guinea is like that. We're like that frog that's being put in the water, and the heat has been raised slowly. So we're cooking. But outside agencies have already rated us. They're rating us. You know, we already tick all of the boxes for a failed country. So we're sort of heading in that failed country direction. And so not only that, we're beginning to tick all the boxes of an authoritarian fascist government. That's where we're going. But in this case, this government is using Christianity as the tool to drive us towards this authoritarian government. And that's I think scary. And most Papua New Guineans, I think, are oblivious. You may not look or something, yeah, work come up, but it's happening. You know, you look at the police force, they're paralyzed half the time. You look at the Ombudsman Commission, they're totally paralyzed, practically ineffective. You look at like ICAC, look at the problems with ICAC. Auditor General is just a shadow of what it used to be at independence, you know. So all of those agencies that were developed with teeth in 1975, they are now toothless. Their teeth have been removed. Their fingernails have been removed. I think their brains have even been removed. They're just like paralyzed. And so what's happened to you has come as a big shock. But I think it's an indication that all of those people that are behind this authoritarian government, they are now becoming more and more emboldened. They all seem strong now.
Yeah.
So it starts with you. Tomorrow it could be somebody else. Pretty soon it could be all of us. All of us could be behind bars. I mean, look at some of the laws that have been passed. You know, there are laws that legitimize an authoritarian regime. That's basically what it is. So, you know, we were both surprised because there was nothing unusual about that particular interview compared to the hundreds of other interviews that we've done. And one kind does all. But these people have found a way to fault it, because what's been happening is that Ogara man we now stop inside this little government agencies here. I'm all boyblo boss. They are all boyblo boss. They all bow down to the boss. They all serve the boss. They no longer serve the country. They serve the boss. You look him. And that's the danger. When everybody starts worshipping one particular guy and they start to idolize that person and they start to believe that this guy can do no wrong, you know, that's what happened to Hitler. Everybody thought, you know, Hitler was a gift from God. Look at what Hitler did, you know. He ended up starting a war that killed so many people, you know, and we're forgetting because it's 80 years later. But it's no surprise, because around the world we are seeing the rise of fascist governments, you know, and I believe Papua New Guinea also has a fascist government, which is why it's moving towards authoritarianism.
True, Tomas, and especially when it comes to, like you mentioned, especially when it comes to those senior, those particular people, you said as a boy blongola. In my case, the thing that was like I found really irritating was when my CEO gave me my termination. He said these words. He said, "I'm sorry, but it was either you or me." I was like, wow, okay. So that's the sad thing. That's the sad situation we live in right now, where job security, providing for your family, whatnot. We've got to a point where
No, it's not just you. Look at all the government contractors. Emol Boyblo government kisim contract, yeah. We had what, Fletcher Morobe. You know,
yes,
an iconic company. Fletcher Morobe, you know, Boyblo Wambla man. They were nobody's boy. They were just an independent company. They've been building Papua New Guinea since before 1975, you think, all just walk, blow, come. But because they were not all no Boyblo government, they never got any contracts. All the Chinese contractors that are operating in PNG now, all Boyblo government. All the other private contractors that are picking up Connect PNG contracts or one kind or Narpla contract, all Boyblo government as all. Companies that are getting like medical contracts, medicine supplies, education book supplies, all Boyblo government as all. You look him. That's a fascist government. But it's happening. So all start Pinis, all get a contractor, all Boyblo government. Next thing you know, people like you and I, we all become victims of government now. You look him. There's no independence. Nobody is neutral anymore. You are either siding with the government, supporting the government, giving money to the government to maintain the government, or you like start independent or one Yuxim Bagrab now. That's basically what's happening.
True, Tomas. Now, when it comes to when it comes to like moving on from where we are right now. Now, very, very recently, you've just taken on a new role as the new party leader for the People's Reform Party in this case. Now, James Donald stepped down, giving you the mantle as the leader of the party itself. For many Papua New Guineans who might be wondering, how long was this? How long have you been? When were you first approached to take the helm, or even to join People's Reform Party? Because you remember when we were having conversations, people kept bringing in saying, "Governor, you need to start in party. We are going to contribute now. At least every fortnight we'll send you $100 or whatnot." People are some skin pen minister. They're tired.
Well, I think when I left National Alliance 2 years ago now, and I became an independent, a lot of parties were talking to me and saying, "Come take this party, come do this, let's do this, let's do that." And me it was like thinking blow me and fix minister me by penis na lusin. Because work blomi am isibig. That's my job. I don't have, the only work I do at the national level is with the Gender Equity and Women's Empowerment Committee, where I'm deputy chair, which is to do with socially related violence, violence against women, empowering women. So, you know, that's something that's been close to my heart. So that's the work me got, national work. The other national work I had was with the elections committee. So one time there's a special committee law elections, I finished the job, you think, Emma. So on national level, Allan BIRD no got work. My only job is to be in parliament and to raise issues, na kind of thing. But I am not responsible for police, I am not responsible for power, I am not responsible for the economy, I'm not responsible for anything at the national level, you think, Emma. So work blomi lo place, I'm start lo finish now. The biggest job I wanted to do, because you say, me start lo place na, me looking most people lo civic. The thing that we lack, me blame no short lo kai kai. Me blame no, but the thing me blame short long money. Our people were short of cash. So I really wanted to solve that problem. On top of, you know, things like education, health, you know, infrastructure, on top of all of those, there was an additional thing, and that was cash. So me like fix it this la. And I knew that when I started, it would be fixed. Obviously now that problem is fixed. So to me, I thought, no got more work blow me. I mean, start na mingi one. I mean, what am I going to hang around for? I'm a practical person. I'm a very pragmatic person. So I was thinking of finishing na going. Because I'm good at building industries, you know. I helped build the vanilla industry. I'm now helping build the cocoa industry. I mean, before what we did, cocoa was always here. No mansa bisi lo planim cacao. Now, Western Province planim cacao, Gulf Province planim cacao, Central Province planim cacao, Miren Bay planim. You know, they had some cocoa, but they didn't have industries. Everybody's planting now. Highlands provinces are planting cocoa. You think, Ima? So, you know, even I'm reading, Manus people are now interested in planting cocoa. So, the cocoa board guys came to me and said, look, thank you, Governor. Suppose you no been making this la. Suppose Civic no been making, the rest of the country wouldn't be interested. So, you know, I'm really pleased that what we've done, and it's affecting other people. So it's something very positive. That's why time old man come asking me a political party. I'm like, what am I going to do with a political party? I mean, it has no real purpose for me. Yeah, you know, someone like me want them strong plating thing na, me strong lo good governance na, me strong in police force na, strong in mogada agencies lo accountability, me like strong in. I've complained many times about the Auditor General's office. I want them to come to ECP. Me complain plenty time lo ombudsman. Me complain plenty time lo police na. Ogada this law oversight mechanisms here. No got man interested lo fix him all. You look ma. So I think plenty of member of parliament too also say Allan BIRD no good la man. You think ma. You know, I'm one of those people that. Me, I'm not a government guy, but I study government. I've studied government for 25 years, you think, which is why I understand government better than most members of parliament. I didn't go to school for it, but I read about it. You know, I try to understand the relationship between, say, government and business, and you know the distinction between the two. So I've been reading on government for 25 years. You think, you know now. So me looking was a work blow me look government and finish. Level blow me and finish. I can't do anymore. You know. So I really wanted to go. So Plenty Line approached me, James, Honorable James Donald. Since his election, he's been close to me. Because I'm find out the same, oh, me ex-oc Teddy, you think, me work lo hapna, me big plan lo hapna. So you say, you can't blame me Papua New Guinea. You find out the same, one man, I'm come to place, you go pass what them. So James Donald has always been close to me. And you know, when Maso came along, and I mean, there were other political parties that approached me, even all party Blomiblayet, Lo Sipik, na Momase, na, you know, a few other parties, and you know, respectfully, I call him name blol. I mean, look, they were good parties, nothing wrong with them, but Bel Blomi, you know, excited lo working on this la work. You know, I became leader of National Alliance for about 3 months, and you know, I dug into the background and the financial records of the National Alliance, and it wasn't a very nice thing to, and I'm not going to go into the details, but there were issues there. So I thought, oh my God, I don't want to pick up a political party na. I got kind of heavy blow na, baggage blow na, kind problem na. So for me, like, plan blow me, 10 years politics, finish, go back to private sector. That was my plan. So, me no been putting plan it in the land. But then as, especially Trangol Cipic, I'm one of them, Mi go lo place na mi go mi round looking online anta blo dragi kia online blo mi yet lo wiwek online lo sem all one hab wasara abunti online lo engoram time mi go na looking more planti all kara na to please no can lo se mebla used to have one more term. So and then of course there was the calls from around Papua New Guinea too. And the only real way that someone like me can make a difference is if I'm in charge. I don't want to be in charge because Civic too, when I was put in charge, plenty man pilim pene. Me hard plamane, And a lot of Civics know that. They know that I'm a hard guy. I'm not here to please anyone. I'm here to fix something. Now if you're gonna fix something that you need to replace the engine, come out engine na trome na put in nubla engine you think ma. Them kind head me got there. So in Civic, like the public servants, man, the e-Civic public servants, they fought me for 5 years. Plan the blow to pass him talk lo Milo election because I was just too hard. But then time will looking all same or something start current kege or the public servants will start law. The ones that didn't like me, they became my greatest defenders. The ombudsman, when I was nominated for prime minister last year, ombudsman sali wambla team goran lo investigating me lo wiwek ya. All public servants like Paitimol ombudsman line ya. So I got a phone call from the provincial administrator. He said, Governor, you make a really problem. One problem. All public service like Paitimol ombudsman line. Hey, no can Paitimol. I'm all come investigating you. I said, look, whatever they want, give it to them. No one blaman fight one blamana. Just don't do it. So me smile because I thought, hey, I'm all public servants are Birwa Lumia. They are now defending me. You think, So I'm like that. I'm like that. If I'm convinced that there's a certain way to do something, Mimba make him. You think, and nothing will stop me. Mimba make him. But in order to do the things I've done in Cipic, I needed the permission of the Cipic people. Now Miblo Cipic, Miblo Hatla Mania. Miblo also Miblo Highlands too. You think, Miblo strong light line. So to be able to gain the trust of the Cipic people is not an easy thing. It's not an easy thing, but I'm very privileged that they gave me their trust to do something, and I'm doing my best. What I found out is that I can fix everything that's my responsibility. Things that are national government responsibility, I can't fix them. I'm hard me fixing me because I'm work blonar laman. Responsibility blonar laman. So everything that's failing in my province, everything that's failing in every other province, they are all national government responsibilities. Power is failing, and work law set, national government. Water is failing, and work law set, national government. Law and order is failing, and work law set, national government. You look in, everything. Our main highways, like the highway between Leh and Medeng is collapsed. Plenty hub, there's a national highway and collapse. Work law set, national government. So everything you look at, defense force is struggling and work blows at national government. So the national government is failing in all of its responsibilities. It's failing, all right? Now, who's getting the blame? Ordinary members of parliament are getting the blame. Provincial public servants are getting the blame. Governors are getting the blame. Meanwhile, there's a protected species here in Port Moresby that don't get the blame, you see. So there's a really serious problem there that nobody seems to be able to fix. Even James Marape, respectfully, I'm 7 years now, I'm fixing one Sunday. All this is the same problem here. Why did many of us want to get rid of Peter O'Neill? Because I didn't have power in ECP and I was fighting for power in ECP. Law and order was collapsing in ECP and I was fighting for that. Now me saw was a problem in national government. Now me fight one day Peter O'Neill or Deslaya. Now, 7-8 years after Lomibla Rosin Peter O'Neill, the guy who replaced him can't fix those problems. So by me making one of them. You see what I mean? So anyway, coming back to the political party situation. So time over a month start talk, okay, look, give it a go, take over a party. So me scale him. There were 5 really good parties that approached me. Noga amlasani wrong lol. And like me sit down na me scale him. Na me man blow look a long way. I don't just look at today and tomorrow. So James Donald and his team, they asked me about 6 months ago. Now James M come na him talk. Bigla. How's money I'm stab ya? Come na ksim na yumirani. All that la good la brata too, trangoli can talk. But I needed like a framework. Out of all of these ones, which one do I choose? The first thing I wanted to do was I wanted it to be a clean party. And in fact, 4 of those parties that came and asked me, 5 of them, they were all new. Clean records, no issues with them. So they all passed my first criteria. My second criteria was that I didn't want a Momase party. Because me blow Momase. Na suppose mix in Momase party, all papuni ni bata, I am all yet, all make him laugh stab. So that eliminated a number of those parties because they were from Momase. So, and then that, the other one I wanted was, I wanted a party with young members of parliament. Some old member of parliament will come inside, thinking blong alem good plan, all no bagravieta. You know, so you, in a sense, you start one blah, a clean sheet of paper, you know. And so for me, and then the other part was, I'm about reform. Everything I want to do is reform, you know. So the only party that had that, and it had it in the name, was People's Reform Party. They had it in their name. And so that's why in the end, this party fitted me. It was a good fit for me. And the other thing also that I wanted was, I'm definitely like, okay, all people will speak talk na, Bamiron lo 2027. But that's the absolute last time. No one is going to convince me to run in 2032. And me balabun man pinise. What am I going to be wasting my time in politics for? You have to be realistic. You need to get out and not die in the seat, you think. I mean, I respect, look, Grand Chief Sir Michael Somare, Sir Julius Chen, one of a kind. You know, they were, but I cannot compare myself to those 2 incredible men, you know, like all stuff lo category blow lieta, all papaya, people all pangal paiwood or PPR now, you think you cannot compare yourself to those two gentlemen. And I don't even pretend to. And I know that, you know, for me, I have to come in, do a job, finish the job, now go. Give him space lo narlaman. But, you know, that's the way I operate. This is the way I've been trained. You know, I'm trained by BHP to be a mining executive. That's my training. My training is you ready narlaman, okay, maniac simples fluina, you go. That's my training. And so I'm just sticking to what I know. So with People's Reform Party, you've got 2 smart, young members of parliament already there. Both of them are humble also, strong plaman. I mean, these 2 are in opposition. I'm not pretna. I'm not pretty one plaman na style opposition. Opposition also talk, you style hell. Because government by cutting funding blow you, you know, people hate you, you know, they dislike you because you are in opposition. Nobody wants to be in opposition. Plenty member also prete, all kalab run lo government because over the keke stala. But look at James Donald and you look at Hewa Bimaso, 2 plus Tromlaman, 2 plus Taplo. James Donald has been in opposition since he first got elected. He's never been in government. So those were the attractive qualities they had. Because me sabe also, if PRP goes to the elections, the chances of us getting enough seats to form government are very slim. So most likely we'll come in with maybe 12, 15 seats, if we're lucky. Now one day there's like a number, I'm hardly you miss government, I'm by me go back to opposition. So the chances of this party going back to opposition is very, very high. It's like 90%, 95% chance we'll be back in opposition after 2027. So I wanted that. That's why People's Reform Party all fit in me. Because these guys are not afraid to be in opposition. I like that. I like the little guy where I'm not pretty one man, I'm back up tight in Buna fighter. You think him? And you know, People's Reform Party is like that. You know, it's got a bunch of fighters in there, and I like that attitude. So after all of that, People's Reform Party stuff. And when I do move out, I'm succession planning, I'm stopping it. There are young leaders there who also all by, they'll be able to pick up a few things from me. They've got their own characters there now. But they'll be able to pick it up and carry it on. And that's what I want. I want an institution that's going to continue to go after I leave. I don't want an institution that's going to collapse when I leave. You think, Emma? So this is where People's Reform Party gives me the best opportunity to build something with that group, so that when I go, there's something na build. So I mean, it's a long way of explaining it, but I hope that that answers the question.
Totally appreciate that. Also, with the People's Reform Party, I think there are certain core values that were highlighted in the announcement that took place on Sunday. In itself, many of them, I think, it reflects our five national goal-directed principles. But for the benefit of our viewers, what are the core values that kind of attracted you to this party itself? If you could just briefly go through them again.
Well, like I said, the first thing is reform. The second thing is they wanted equity and inequality. And I think that's something that's been missing in Papua New Guinea for a long, long time. There's no, for example, in Papua New Guinea, there are 6 or 7 provinces that are very rich, richer than all the others. So the other 15 provinces, Mibla are poor cousins here. Isipik is one of them, So one of the core values that, for me, that's really attractive about the People's Reform Party is, and it comes from Western Province. It comes from one of the rich provinces. And this time you can look at there are 2 landowner groups that you never have problems with. The owners of Oktedi and the owners of Lehir. Have you realized that?
True.
They're very good people. Western Province people, or line blow share him something. They don't fight over things there. So I'm not surprised that a party from the Western Province recognizes that the national wealth needs to be shared equally. You look at him. I'm not surprised because I'm passing blow there. This line the Western Province here. They're very nice, peaceful people. All no line blow greedy or I'm start blow culture blow. So to me, that was the most attractive thing out of all of the policies. A lot of the policies are, and you can go on the website and read them. They've done a great work. The brilliant thing is the party themselves sat down and came up with the party policies. When I agreed to join them, we brought in a couple of experts with PhDs to review the policies and fine-tune them. So one of the reasons why Mibla making Mosem, because we wanted educated Papua New Guineans, when they come and read the policies, all by looking Mosem, Saveman write him. But the basis for it actually came from the party members themselves, the original party members. So all we've done is sort of enhance them, put him out. So a lot of the party policies might seem, generic. Ogaraman got same kind of party policy. But the difference with, I think, the People's Reform Party is that there's that genuineness to actually do it. Like, for example, if we ran the country, the very first thing we would do is we would try to make it, there's second national goal in the directive principle, we would try to make it universal across Papua New Guinea. Actually implement it. Totok nadilo mouse, write in tasolo paper, walk in. And for me, that fits with my own ideas of empowering provinces and moving towards a block grant model. To me, if you want to solve Papua New Guinea's problems, you've got to fix the economy and you've got to fix the financial problems. The way to do that is through a block grant model. Like, if you use a block grant model, you would stop borrowing money tomorrow. PNG would not have to borrow money anymore. Stop it, Mogada. At the moment, we have a political patronage financial system where Prime Minister Sinda Natogoge give him money at 300 million kina rot, give him money at 247 million kina rot, give him money at 280 million kina, so I'm by kissing this la money, na buy him this la all buildings, la mospi, Like, this is the way the country is being run. It's run at the whims of the Prime Minister. Prime Minister Basiran atau gimana adesla. It's not systematic. The country is run based on feelings blaman. And that's been my experience when, like the first government I was part of was the Marape government. And I sat in there. I took some proposals to that government that could have transformed this country. Prime Minister James Marape had me do a whole presentation late one night law. How much cabinet all ministers na, how much all governors na. Man, yes, fighty na. We never did anything about it, you see. So I know that this government is not committed to anything long term. It's just committed to staying in power. And that's one of the reasons I left. I'm here because I want to do things. I want to achieve outcomes, you think, Emma. I don't want to come and waste my time. You meet to talk story, na grease, drink coffee, na wanem. You know, we want to solve real problems, and I don't see them doing it, you see. But PRP, People's Reform Party, we want to reform everything, you know, from every single agency, structure namelo national, subnational government. We want to reform them all. And we don't want to take 8 years to do it. We want to do it in the first 12 months. Put him over the reform ya going and then Larry Memwoka. As I said yesterday, we want to lay down the train tracks. Put him track here. So that you put the train on top here, you saw saying run lay na golo hap. You know Larry run number or man run lo 4-wheel drive na wogilo like blow. No. It's got to be done like this. So that's why we call it a hard reset. And you know, here's the thing I want to make clear to the people of Papua New Guinea. James Marape, he has no original idea of his own. Now he's using national reset. Where did he get those words from? He got it from me. You look him. I'm using this law tok take back PNG. He got that from Gary Jufa. You know, sadly, the man has no original ideas on how to solve the country's problems. I mean, does he even know what take back PNG means? Does he even know what hard reset means? I know. Hard reset means taking the really hard decisions that nobody else wants to take. I mentioned it yesterday. It's about taking the bitter medicine, you think, Emma. So this is why the People's Reform Party, you know, these guys understand, this team of great leaders, they understand the hard things that we need to do, and they want to take that road. I want to take that road. The question now is, you know, do the people of Papua New Guinea want to take that road? Or do we want to continue with lolly sugar and see where that takes us? Because lolly sugar over the last 15, 20 years hasn't taken us far.
True. You talk about the hard reset that's PRP mentioned yesterday as well. Now, when you talk about hard reset, and especially with reform being one of the key word here in your party, if you were to put some reforms in place, what would be, say, for instance, the immediate reforms that the country currently needs right now from your perspective as the party leader?
Well, I've got something written down, so I might just go through and read it so that you know that nothing. You know, these are things that we've thought about, things that we've done. Like, yes. Okay. The first thing, and this is a long one, Emir, so if you don't mind, Bami read him sampler blow. To me, the very first thing we need to do, pillar number 1, is governance and institutional reform. Like, this is the most critical pillar. The biggest hindrance to the growth of the country is in its governance. Governance is a problem. Look at you. You are a victim of governance. You look at him. So, this is the thing that needs to be fixed. So anti-corruption and total transparency. We mentioned that yesterday. That needs to be paramount. We need to empower those independent institutions here. And midlay talk here. Ombudsman Commission, Auditor General, ICAC, you think him. So make sure they have the guaranteed funding and the operational independence. Look in police. Police got one plus special committee where committee but decide also you prosecute, you may investigate in the Slaman. No one investigate in the Slaman. That's not being independent. That's being subject to someone's control. You think we got to fix all of that. ICAC should be free to investigate anybody. Remember? Sam Coyne was in charge of Task Force Sweep. Why did they dismantle it? because they did their job too well, so dismantle him. You look at him. We can't have that. Next one, transparent public finance. Me to talk law. So now, like with the People's Reform Party, we want to go online. Put him over the place kilian or man by looking operation blomipla. I want to do the same thing with government finance. You know, when I first started publishing the budget of ECP provincial government, hey, you got a man argue one day me, or public service to no, you cannot publish that. I'm like, why not? Although again, private information, me to no. This is public money. We got to do the same thing at the national level. Put you got a Sunday place killer, you like it on him. And private money blue you, na Mary blue you. No got there. Put in place killer. That's what we got to do, because when you put in place killer, all man by understand why usad man og loksim this la contract and this la contract ya put you got a Sunday place killer. You've got to be above reproach, you think, Emma. Right now. Okay, man suspect all the government and corrupt and they're right because there's absolutely no transparency. Okay? So we need something like the provincial government budget, national government contracts, expenditure, put in place clear. Larem the Papua New Guinea looking. So we need something like an open PNG portal. That's what we mean by a hard reset. Put in place clear no man look like it on him. Man sa still ta solely I like him nameless you look him. Number one, whistleblower protection. We got to make sure that the man only got this, only come na blowing whistle here. All no na kissy heavy. Look at you. You know, you're being nailed for nothing. We need strong whistleblower protection. So we need to enforce robust legislation that protects citizens and officials who report corruption. Look at man. Next one comes back to block granting. We've got to decentralize service delivery through a block grant model. Again, this is about solving. You can look at most. Something we start total 1, 2 years is all about the financial management. We've got to fix that. So we've got to fix that block granting model here. We need it. It's no longer about you mean need him more, you mean don't need him more. No. We are already at the point where you absolutely totally need it, because without it the country will fail. It's failing now. Nothing is stopping us from failing. We are failing. We are on the road to total failure. Decentralization and service delivery through a block grant model will fix that. And I've written it down. So, remember, Misa debate lo parliament and Misa Totok, yeah? We got to, and with that block grant model, we got to clarify the roles. You look at now also Connect PNG. Which one is Connect PNG? All go working on hand road lo district lo one member also Connect PNG. All go working on hand road lo house lo one member also Connect PNG. Every single thing is Connect PNG. Hang on a minute. What is Connect PNG? Define it. Who is responsible for what? Define it. You look at me. And then we've got to have a formula-based intergovernment transfer system tied to performance and tied to audit outcomes. What do I mean by that? Say national government come na give him one money lo ECP. Come na audit him this money. Have I not said that in parliament many times? I have. Audit him this money. Suppose one man lo ECP and bagrab him this money or foul him this money. You cut him budget blomibla next time. You have to shift to performance-based budgeting. Now we only have an expenditure-based budgeting. You spend the money, me give you money. You spend the money, me give you money. Nobody measures performance. Every other country on earth is measuring performance. Mibla nogat. Prime Minister comes sana, emia 10 million blue, go na walking walk. Emia 5 million blue, go na walking walk. No man sa check. This is what I mean by hard reset. These are the things that we need to build. So, national inspections of local entities. There is zero. Me governor 8 years now, yeah. No got one blood time, one blood national department, auditor general, who said he come down and work him audit lo ECP ko, audit him one blood district or one blood LLG lo ECP, zero. Never been done. Now I'm no ECP that's all over the province. So how are you going to get performance? Okay, after that, employee is stop. Law and order, 1.3. This is like our absolute. You know, me got problem law and order law ECP. New Ireland got problem. Manus got problem. East New Britain, West New Britain. Don't even mention the highlands. Next level problem landa. Don't even mention Port Moresby. Next level problem. Hard reset. We need 20,000 police officers tomorrow. We've got to figure out how to pay for it and how to get those men, and we've got to get them in there. If you need one policeman sanablo, or corner one the gun or two policeman sanablo, make sure that our citizens are safe. Then why are we not doing it? You think, so no can play na talk. You look him all put him inside the budget. All talk. Oh, me plug him 400 million kinalo police. Time me question him police minister. No sims la money. Paper lo budget all put him lo. Kisim no God. You see what I mean? These are serious governance problems. I could go on and on. Pillar number 2 is about macroeconomic stabilization and fiscal discipline. So we've got to restore confidence in the management of the economy. That's my pillar number 2. So I've got all these pillars. No good me back go. Now I'm take him whole one in my butt. You can see from just the first 2 things I've mentioned. These are the things that are critical that we've got to fix. And that's what I mean by a hard reset. You go inside your first budget you walk in. You think, first budget. You cannot wait and dream and, talk about rich black Christian nation. How do you get to a rich black Christian nation? Spell out the steps. Mibla writing penis na stuff, yeah? Now me talk lo sambla blong em, yeah? You think, So Babi Lucilla, let's not go too deep because I've got about 10 pages here that I've written up,
Now, in regards to those reforms itself, I think the smartest thing that I noticed, and I think it's a step in the right direction, particularly for people out there who might be interested about the core values of the People's Reform Party, is that now you perceive all of the digital aspect of things, and there is a digital platform where members of the public like yourselves, you can actually log on and see what's happening in that part. And I think transparency is one of the key things that you mentioned when you announced the platform. But for the benefit of our audience, if you could just explain what the purpose of the online platform is.
All right. What we've tried to do is say, put him awesome. The stuff we want to do in the country, a microscopic view of that. People put him inside the party. All right. Things like, suppose, and we're still sorting it out. Let me apologize to the public. I think something like 50,000 people tried to join yesterday.
Damn.
And the system crashed. You think it? People are not expecting this last, so I want to apologize. We've got people working on it now, trying to fix it up. The other thing is that we have cyber security on the system, so Plandiline apply this la cyber security by checking out bona fides blow past them before law. So it's slowing things down. So we've got about 20,000 people, or maybe up to, I haven't checked lately. They are just waiting for the system to accept them in. So it's, if I can ask people to just slow down. I mean, look, we don't have to do it all at once. We've got the next 12 months for people to join, and then of course the payment options too. We still have to sort out how that works. So, old man like Sally Money, please, you will wait past them. Wait, now you Mr. Tim good. So, me like him some time, you put him 100 kina blue, you come inside, yeah, or 10 kina blue, you come inside. Me bla account lem good. So, you by looking at by belly serious and more. Me bla no height, kissing money blue in IT team na work is something. Me bla okay place kiliana, you can look him. So, but then further on, like inside, one of the big issues is going to be like candidate selection. Ogra man now like I'm na run one them. People's Reform Party, yeah. All right. I mean, part of National Alliance, me looking more, even me looking how Pangu Party working. The party leader and some of his group, senior line, all by sit-down, all by selecting candidate. You look him. So, when we select the candidate, we go to the community and say, me candidate will play. Sometimes community knows a one bell. So one of the reasons why when our members join us, people ask him all put in which district you come long. There's a reason for that. When it comes to candidate selection, say 5 people write you blow Yalibu Pangia. Imbongo, you blow Imbongo. Okay. Say 5 laman candidate lo Imbongo Salim Kama. Okay, Governor Bed, I'm like this, I'm God's gift to the planet, blah blah blah. Selecting me no, me baron lo PRP. Well, I don't want to make the decision. I'm not going to vote in Yalibu Pangia, I mean in Imbongo. I'm not going to vote up there. Online and up vote. So me like him, oh, get a member, Blomibla lo imbonguya. Mibla ba gonna put him online, na toge me 5 candidate, yeah. You gonna mark him 1, 2, na 3. So we have already developed an online voting application. It's on the system. So, over line say we have 1,000 members from Imbongo. There's like 1,000 members from Imbongo, yeah, all by Gona. They will do a pre-selection of the 5 candidates. The one that comes out number 1, that's the candidate we will pick. So the candidate will actually be picked by our members. That's one of the big point of difference between us and all the other political parties. So we've developed that online already. Understand? And then, so the other thing is like things like policy formulation. If we want to develop a new policy, we will write the framework for it, we'll put it online, and then we'll let all our members around the country have a look at the policy. They want to comment, they want to improve it, they want to take something away or whatever. Let him all stratim pinis, give him back Lomipla. We will then take the policy and we will get it passed through the process, approved, and we operationalize it. So that's another thing we have. So plenty blow something where also working law high tier mi blaba put in place killer. Even also running balance law. People's Reform Party, private party blow James Donald, even though I'm Papa started, private something blow me. It's an organization that we're building for the people of Papua New Guinea. So when you join, you have a say in how it operates. Everything, money, I mean, collect mas money. Me like mo say, you gonna click na looking by looking bank account na talk 500 kina stabia or 1 million stabia. You will see it as a member. So what we are doing in People's Reform Party, that's what we want to do with Papua New Guinea. We want to bring in that total transparent look. Basically, we want to give our members control of the party. Hon.Allan BIRD by control him. Or me one time all executive, me plus tabo say was man that's all. I'm sending blue blah. You think kind of same. The same way, if the people of Papua New Guinea can trust us and give us Papua New Guinea to run, I'm saying something me by making me. We are going to give you control of your country. That's what we are trying to do. Control the country blue by start when the People's Reform Party or Pangu Party or Wanem Narla Party or it's going to be yours. We want to move back to the full principles of democracy. Time old founding fathers Blumipla only adopting Papua New Guinea law 1975. This law principles all been got law this time yeah. That's what we want to return the country to, back to its people. That's what we are trying to do.
This sentiment, I think, plenty time we've been told one time over the years, but more specifically, I think last year, towards the end of last year and this year, I keep making that point. Plenty man thing was when you talk politics, I'm something called big man. And me talk plenty time, me talk politics and me together. You may complain like a country go bagarap stop or you may complain law why plenty law and other issues big at long. And it all comes back to politics. Everyone has to be interested in I'm echoing what the late Alphonse Gilubin talk, Dr. Gilubin talk, and talk. Get interested in politics. Be a member of a political party. Have a say in how your country is being run. Don't just turn up at the polling station, polling booth every 5 years. You need Lokana. You need to take advantage of. You need to take hold of your future. You do that through the power of a political party. Be part of a political party because he said, political parties are one of the greatest institutions that we have that can direct the course of the country.
Well, what you have just said now, we have taken it in the People's Reform Party to a new level. You can be sitting in Manus, you can be sitting in Namatanai, you can be sitting in Imbongo, and you can go online and have full access. Because you like me black hamantabna lugim you lo Imbongo and bahad there. No do like me black. So rather than me black fly run wasting money, the internet is an absolutely brilliant technology. Because to me, democracy works when there is transparency, when there is ownership, when there is participation. The internet, and this is another thing. I want Starlink here. I want Me like him all man Mary lo, Meriva, all man inside lo, Wamamin long telephone or one more. Okay, that is a lily boost place here. I want them to have access. So whether it's this political party or whether it's the government, I want them to have access. Opim duan or man Mary look him. You sabe, all to blow you time also cutting pig lo place. Also hide lo boost na cutting pig or also cutting place killer lo hap sing sing. You place a cutting pig lo we. You place a cutting lo hap lo sing sing ya. So that one man karim leg lo pigi go, karim bun backside lo pigi go. You me over sana luluk na imi lugi mana karim go kam ya. Well, to me, our ancestors practiced the concept of transparency and good government. So ugra man sinan na luluk no one bell. Time you me kissing this la concept of Westminster government they come inside. You me hide him, now you me cut him pig inside the bedroom. That's the problem. But if you open up that process, now one man lo boost, can sit down, na just kissing phone or one na. You know, I have cousins who didn't even go to grade 1 and they can operate a mobile phone better than me. Seriously.
Wow.
That's how smart Papua New Guineans are. You know? I've been to remote parts of ECP. Now all boost man ya, all no go to school ya, all operating smartphone na. Also watching Milo. YouTube ya. And they're getting educated. This internet, these smartphones are tools that we are not fully, we are just using them to, look at rugby league or playing this lausa to Pacific or Port Moresby racing or whatever that is, or finding girlfriend, boyfriend, or we are not really fully utilizing the technology that's available.
Yep.
So in the People's Reform Party, we want to take the acceptance and the use of technology to a new level. You know, people are calling all these meetings and we all have to fly to Moresby or fly somewhere else to have a meeting. You know, and we are doing it in ECP too. ECP is a huge province and, you have to move people here and there. I don't know why we cannot have technology there. So, provincial administrator was sit down and calling meeting. Okara man sit down, Lokankan district, all to just sit down and look at camera or conference room and they have a meeting. Without having to get in the car, spend 300 kina to buy fuel, to go over there, pay for a hotel room to sleep there, get travel allowance. So, for one person to travel, it costs you, 1,500 kina. For one person. Whereas you can do all of this online and what's the cost? Nothing. Just the cost of internet. So this is where we want to modernize Papua New Guinea. That's what People's Reform Party wants to do. And we want to transform. You look in Manifesto Blomipla I'm talking. We want to reform, perform, transform. So we want to leapfrog the problem. Yeah, plenty problem is that, but you may leapfrog him, you may transform him. That's what we want to do. And so we are going to embrace technology. Like, if other parties say they want to do it, well, other parties have been in charge for the last 15 years. Did they embrace it? They didn't. Mipla by walking, because for me, personally, Hon.Allan BIRD, James Donald, Maso Hewabi, Secretary Blomibla, Ismail Tamutai, Mipla, like in people or place, must connect. They must connect, not just to People's Reform Party, but to their country, to their government. All must own him and something blow on. And we want to give them that. And I believe, without a shadow of doubt, technology will give them that. This la technology. Now all phone meet la put him na you may walk him this la interview ya. This will give them access. And the cost is going to be almost nothing. People are money lo walking this la or something. See what I mean?
True. Well, Gab, I know you're quite a very busy man, and I won't keep you much longer on our program, our inaugural program again, Conversations with Callaghan. Like I mentioned already, this episode, it's called Ask for Trouble, how we started, how everything started off. But Governor, for yourself, I'd like you to just to end our conversation here. What's the message? I mean, the message not just about People's Reform Party, but what can you say to Papua New Guineans who are interested or who want to see change, who want to see us move ahead, progress? It was sad enough that I think it was the beginning of this year we had our Chief Justice mentioned that the country has regressed. in any case, it was quite sad to hear it from our Chief Justice. But this is someone who's had a very lengthy history in our legal service. I was surprised that in his young heydays, he was actually up in Southern Highlands and knew many people, even my own family, my dad and everyone, while they were working with the provincial government back then. And to hear him say that, for me, it was, how should I say, it was unsettling to hear it from someone as senior as him. But from yourself, from your standpoint now as a party leader, but apart from that, just to your message to the everyday Papua New Guinean who are interested in the betterment of this country and for their future and their families as well, what would you say to them?
Okay, two things. Number one, I'm ask you blogger all Papua New Guinea na. Awesome. Story blow now, yeah, ask blow trouble. All right. Me personally, me making commitment lo Kaligen awesome. You know, Kaligen, I have been dealing with him for a long time. Mino sakam na give me one side coins or one something no that. It's been a totally professional, respectful relationship. But now I'm got heavy awesome, yeah. Mino na call him amount. But me yet, but me put some money lo saboti work lo Kaligen. Not just Kaligen, but any other fearless, honest reporters who want to highlight our issues. So me appeal lo iblo Papua New Guineans. Me by sabotim this la young man because me believe was him. He's very talented. Look him, I am asking question yeah. Sometimes write it down. Sometimes me just migi mosem. Emi got talent lo this la work. Me like saboti talent lo him. Time him say invite me lo come lo. Show blow him. Me come because Kaligen am sing out, not because it's FM 100. Just like when Douglas was there, just like when late Roger Hawafa was there. I came because these are great men that you can talk to. So young Kaligen am develop lo desla work now. So me ba support him. For the first time, me no say give me one plus something. Me ba support him lo work. So me ask you all Papua New Guineans, you bla pili mo say me got Lily sing out lo bell blow pla. Support this man na. Put him one to yana, you me support him. Me ba give him blow me min na call amount because me bla civic. Me bla no announce lo public sandi blo say me ba me height na give him. And you bla civic ba understand. You bla narbla like walking announcement na sing point him ground na come give him. Sandi blo bla but me ba walking away blow me. That's the first thing I want to say. Second thing, coming back to what the Chief Justice has said, I think Chief Justice Emi Biplaman Thomas. Nah, I think, you know, I'm kind man where I'm holding inside lo bell blame long time. Because he's not supposed to talk about things like that. And I think there are many judges who don't talk about, na plenty of big man too. Also hold him inside lo bell blow la. He go, na abrusim mark now. Talk out. But I think, talk out lo one plus something where you me over the Papua New Guinea and you me look sabe pinisa. You may look sabe na you may no sa talk. You know, the other day I called out this National Repentance Day thing. Nobody has ever called it out. Okaraman sa passing mouse na you may make him. And then I was so pleased that, you know, a lot of people criticized me. You know, they said I wasn't a Christian, or this or something. Christian is not about what you do in public, you think him. It's about when something you feel it bell blow you, respect namelo you na God na you make it something. But anyway, that's another, I'm not gonna go down there, but I was so happy that time he making noise. Head blow Lutheran Church and me come out and support him. Talk where me too been making long him. So I think that's the thing with Papua New Guineans. Me plus a respect him all member, na respect him Prime Minister, na respect yes abrusi mark na something wrong. You mean so to talk. You miss a passing mouse. I'm come back lo culture blow you me lo respect. You saw you can peel him pen na start na man kalo place by quick time through you play cleaning place killing pig or something. But you plus struggle lo school fee na or something yeah. But lo respect as well you me killing pig you think him. Now you mean not to talk lo problem. You may order kaya pig na. All man come you may amma symbol no go finish na EVM stop yet. That's a PNG culture. We are now a modern country in the modern world. Yes, you got good culture blow you stop. But what the Chief Justice mentioned, I mean no personal problem blow Chief Justice. And problem blow country mention him. You look him. And that's the thing. We've got to separate things that are personal from things that have to do with common problems that we all are facing. There's no something me to talk long economy, jobs, the power structures between the national and the provincial government. Those are not Allan Bird's private problems. And problem lo country. You look him. Now inside lo head lo you mean need lo separate him. Problem lo country. Now personal problem lo you mean. We got to be able to separate those two. You mean no can same. You mean no can porret lo talk lo heavy lo country. Every time I come out in public, when I call out the Honorable James Marape, James Marape is a nice man. But look at all the things he is doing. It's not helping any of us. So I'm not talking about James Marape as an individual. I'm separating that. I'm talking about the things where he is failing to do. Okay? Now, he should be able to see that. Me time on man criticizing me. Quick time through me straight in me yet. Because me wrong, straight in. That's the way I operate. And I'm expecting, plenty time, all by toko. Allan Bird no a good la passing blame. Why? Because Misa talk straight na you sa Philippine lo bun blow you na you talk me no good la man na. I'll tell you something about my civic people. When I got elected in I think it was August 8th 2017. First time. Civic line up lobbies, there was a huge pile of papers as big as this. Request blow lo money. All come now talk. Me like him money. You know what I said to them? I said, sorry, me no come no kiss him money. No talk, hey, passing blue you know sem papa somare. Now me talking on looking pace blow me. Me look sem papa somare or no that. Papa I am different man, me different man. I will make you work for your money, me talking about. Now me starting this Coco program come here. My people are working for their money because I was very hard on them at the start. Now look at me story I'm stopping me at yeah. And this is what I didn't do that. Suppose me no been working for some law. Suppose me too start finding money and me start giving law. Civics would not be working hard right now. You look at. And that's the same thing I'm saying to Papua New Guinea. You might not like me because I am saying the things the way they should be said. Just like Chief Justice talked again, you can believe it long him. But this is the truth. You can't avoid it. My issue is it's got to be fixed. And it's got to be fixed and done right. Plenty papa mama now, you saw some piggy blue, I'm not gonna walk. I can graduate the university current degree camera side, I'm still not gonna walk. How do we solve that? Do we solve that by being nice to one another? Na yumigo lotu, na beten, na sing sing, na karay. Does that solve the problem? If it does solve the problem, okay, yumigo go holding pass na yumi cry, na beten, na problem by solve. If that is not the solution, then we have to find the solution and do it. That's basically what I'm saying. You don't have to like me to solve your problem. You just need to know that I am recognizing your problem. And I am saying to you, I have a solution. Me and my team of leaders, we have a solution on how to fix it. You don't have to like me as a person. You just have to look at the solutions that we are offering and ask yourself, are these the solutions that are going to make life better for my child, my children, my relatives? All the relatives sing out to me all the time, no money, all the fortnight, yeah? Or is it not good for us? That's the question you got to ask yourself. You don't have to ask yourself whether I make you feel good. If I made you feel good, I'd be selling you ice cream. I'm not an ice cream salesman. I'm a guy that wants to fix things. My team of leaders, including people like Krenga Kua, Dr. Lino, Brian Kramer, and all these guys that we hang around together, these leaders, we are here to fix things. We're not here to make you feel good by giving you ice cream. Because time block ice cream and finish. You may all heavy. Someone needs to, they always say, take the bull by the horns. Well, sometimes when you take the bull by the horns, you have to slaughter the bull, you know? And someone has to do that. We can't all be nice people and come na. You may give me sugar loli na, you feel sweet stuff na. Situation blay bagarat. So that's my final word to Papua New Guineans. You want someone who's going to be, like, I don't want to be Prime Minister for 8, 9, 10 years, na around, na hello people, na, you know, that's not my thing. You know, you ask him all civic. No one bla time, Hon.Allan BIRD go na cut him ribbon, na walking one bla open him. He said, okay, she bla open him, na use him. But we come cut him ribbon lo on him. All civic but talk you. That's the way I operate. I'm not here to go doing ribbon cutting. If you cut him, cut him. That's the way I operate. I just want to see the result. The road to the result, that's not important to me. As long as we get to the result, I'm happy. So, I'm still unbelievable. Thank you, my brother. I'll continue to support you. You want to do another show, I'll be here. But like I said, let's support Culligan. Thank you very much.
Governor, firstly, thank you very much for the compliment. I think people I've been through you. You give them come, so I'd like to extend my thanks to you, your office, the people of Civic. Thank you through. And I'm just extending my thanks and appreciation on behalf of myself and my family, and we sincerely appreciate this just so you welcome Logan. Thank you too much. And apart from that, I want to thank you again for being my first guest on my my inaugural program, Conversations with Culligan. Governor, thank you too much for the time. I wish you nothing but the best with the PRP and, of course, the people of ECPIC as well, and the road ahead. It's going to be a very challenging one, and so far from what you said, I think the response has gone out, and I think it's been a positive feedback with the launch that commenced on Sunday. But Governor, thank you too much for the time.
It's been a pleasure, my brother. Thank you, Strat.
Thank you.